All right, you guys. Hey, how about this? How about this is the last story that happened in my life where I was afraid for my life and pulled my gun out. I actually thought I was done with the last story, but it, this one it popped up, and I'm like, oh yeah, that did happen. Let me get straight to it. My younger cousin, that I sometimes consider my niece, but my younger cousin, she needed a ride home. I don't know if it was. I don't think she actually stayed there. I think it was like her aunt's house or something like that. And so anyway, I took her there. Now these apartment complex, it's in Seattle, but I think it's actually considered renting. And it's just, it was a jungle at one point in time. Like it was a problem area anyway. It still is. Anyhow, I went to go drop her off. So as I go drop her off, this car is coming towards me. Like the way it's set up is you got to go through a gate. You got to go through a gate that opens up, and it has those spiky things that'll pop up. And, so if you try to go through the wrong way, or when you're not supposed to, your tires will get popped. So you go through the gate, and then it's just one way in, one way out. Took her in there. She gets out the car to go in the home. I'm waiting until she gets in the house. Now this car is coming towards me. It's got these two guys in the car, and I don't know who they are. Never seen them in my life. And just making sure my little cousin gets in the house safe. I don't drive off until you make sure they get in the house. So that's what I did. I waited, and so she was good to go. Gave me a thumbs up, and now the guys are like just about next to me, driving up to me, and start throwing up gang signs to me. Okay, I don't know. They're retarded stuff. So when they did that, it was just kind of comical. Like it was almost funny. Like, really, like, like, what are you doing? This ain't 92. And so I just laughed. When they did that, I was just like, and I drove off. And I think that pissed them off. So I'm driving around to come back and leave out the entrance. Well, it's kind of a big apartment complex. It's not big in the sense of like how large of an area it takes up, but just it's got a lot of tenants throughout that. It was kind of like the projects, or yeah, projects. And so forget like, excuse me, it's the projects. Okay, so as I'm going through this little narrow area, start heading back out of the gate, they pulled up behind me, and the guy in the passenger seat, he's still throwing up gang signs. And I'm like, I'm not giving it no energy until the driver tries to actually pull up on the side of me. So now I'm like, oh, you got for real? So what I did is I sped up and I cut them off to the left so that they couldn't really get on the side. It's a narrow spot, so you can get two cars right there, but you don't want to because it's so narrow. And so I just I kind of basically got in the middle. That way he can't get left or right. And so I just got in the middle, cut it off, and went over the speed bump. After I go go over the speed bump. I looking in my rear view, and these guys are, he's not hanging out the window anymore, but they're talking shit. I don't know what they're saying, but they're talking shit. And I honestly, I let it get the best of me. Just to be real with you, I let it get the best of me. However, I felt threatened because they're following me now. Like I'm not no gang. I didn't throw no gang signs, but who are you? I don't know you. Leave me alone. You know, and so they were just hurt because I laughed at their little dumb stuff. And so as I see them doing all this blah blah blah, I see what looked to be somebody reached underneath their seat, which is a trip. Remember one of those stories that I had where it was me and my buddy. We were in Federal Way, and the guy reached over and pulled into his gun compartment or glove compartment. Well, I could be wrong, but this guy reached underneath his freaking seat. You know what I mean? And so in my mind, I'm thinking gun. I think most of you would probably think the same thing I did. So when I sees this, I'm like, oh, okay, it's like that. So I have my Glock 29. And so I'm pretty much now, all I got to do is turn left and I'll be going out of the gate and they're right behind me and they're pumping behind me, bucking. That's what it's called, bucking. They bucking behind me. And I let it get the best of me. They're whatever they doing and, talking shit. So I'm like, oh, okay. I pull out my Glock 29, and what I was going to do is turn right and stay to the far right lane and let them get up to me on the left-hand side. I wasn't about to go on a car chase. Like I said, I let it get the best of me. I guess I'm a bad guy in this one, maybe. I don't know. I'm not really. I know I'm not a bad guy, but what I'm saying is maybe I had better options that I could have took, but I didn't. I'm angry at this point. It was just stupid. And so I'm like, okay, well, you supposed to be hard. Y'all over here gang banging, doing whatever to a grown man, dropping all that. Could have been my daughter. You know what I mean? And you guys is, well, you mad because I'm laughing at your childish ways? Okay. As soon as I pulls out, the gun comes up. I have the gun up right here, and I'm ready. And as I pull out, I'm yelling, bring your ass on. Bring your ass on. That's what I'm saying to him. However, they seen the gun. The reaction inside the car changed. And instead of turning right with me, they literally, how can I explain this? The road, like, so when you drive out of the apartment complex, you're on a very popular road. Okay, it's two ways on both sides, but the speed limit's like 50. Okay, so it's kind of like a highway, and it leads to the freeway. And so in the middle of that large popular road is two very thick yellow lines. So you're not supposed to cross, it's not like that. There is no way where to turn left anyway. And so when I pulled out and went right, and I'm yelling, bring your ass on with my gun up, they drove out. I told you they're all this and whatever they were doing and yelling in their car changed when the gun came up and I'm yelling, bring your ass on. Instead of them turning right and coming with me, they drove straight out, made a U-turn, and came straight back in the apartment complex. Okay. Drove out, Perfect U-turn, back in the apartment complex. And I actually started laughing because I'm like, well, obviously you guys are corny. I thought you guys was big shit, top shit, whatever. You know, throwing up your gang signs like little kids. Now you're dealing with a grown man, and I don't play that. You know, and so they seen what's happening, and they turned around and went back in. I shut that whole thing down. Now, again, I could have handled it a different way. I'm sure, better maybe, but I'm not perfect, and I was willing to teach these motherfuckers a lesson. You know, messing with a grown man. So, but it ended cool. Nobody got hurt. Hopefully, they'll think before they start being stupid with someone else. And you know, play those games with your little friends, but don't bring that my way. I don't play that. I got kids, and I gotta get back to my child and my family. You try to stop that, I ain't leaving. I like breathing. So yeah, that's that. That's that story. And the only other stories I have besides that are stories that happened when I didn't have a gun. And I'm actually, it's finally, you know, we're done with those situations. And listen, it's not cool to have stories. It's just that because I have went through these things, I want to record it and put it out there. Intelligent people can learn from the mistakes of other people. They can learn from the lessons of other people too, and just you know, the situations you hear. Intelligent people can hear those things and learn from it. And so I don't know what could learn from this, but you know, I hope someone takes from any of these stories, you know, and do it better than me. Can't say I was horrible because I never had to shoot someone. I avoided a gunfight in all those situations. So to a certain extent, I'm doing all right. You know, I'm doing something right. So, but yeah, let's pray we don't have that never happens again, ever, ever, ever. Um, and but there's a couple more when I didn't have a gun as a kid, and it's just some scary stuff. So I'll make some videos of that soon. But if any of you guys have any stories, man, put it up there. It's not about being cool or none of that, because it's not. There's nothing cool about it. All it is an adrenaline dump, a bunch of fear, and praying to God that, you know, because once you pull the trigger, your whole life is changed. It's a wrap. Your whole life's changed emotionally, financially. You know, everything changes. And these things I know for a fact. So, whammy out.